Hi, everybody. We continue to pray for you and wait for the time that we can gather again together. Again, I hope that during these times we are truly seeking God and asking questions about life, about ourselves, about our future, and about our paths that we're going down. As we look at these attitudes Jesus talks about, which will bring us happiness, which will bring us contentment, which will literally guide our lives to different journeys and different paths if we follow them, I want to ask you first about the cravings that you have in life. It would help us understand the attitude Jesus talks about today. What are those things you crave? Now, maybe it's a certain type of food, and especially staying at home more often. You long for those types of things. We have families who come from overseas and stay with us, and they haven't had certain foods for a really long time, and they crave food. They crave an In-N-Out burger because they haven't had a hamburger, especially like In-N-Out, for a long time. Or they crave French fries, or they crave certain things. What are those things that you crave? Have you ever watched YouTube videos and seen a store, some type of dessert store that maybe is an hour away from you, but because it looks so delicious, you're willing to get stuck in traffic, to drive for an hour, to go away just to get this dessert because of those cravings that you have? Now, we have other cravings in life that are actually bigger and deeper. Maybe it's a craving for relationship. Maybe it's a craving for meaning. Maybe it's a craving for purpose. We have cravings for love. Maybe it's a craving for a future career or a career path, a certain college, a certain car. I mean, maybe your first car was nothing like the car that you wanted, your dream car. And if you value getting that car enough, you will work and work and work to get that dream car. Now, those cravings in life are really there to reflect the reality that we have the ability to crave for things, and sometimes the things we crave for are not as good as others. Sometimes the things we crave for bring us to health, and sometimes the things we crave for bring us to an unhealthier lifestyle. Maybe things we crave for actually bring us life. And Jesus knows this, and he says in Matthew 5, verse 6, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled." Think about that for a second. How much do we hunger and thirst for living right according to God's standards? How much do we hunger for knowing Jesus more so that we could live like Jesus more? How much do we thirst to drink in God's presence and his love and his heart so that it can flow out of our lives to other people around us in the world, compared to other things that we crave or hunger or thirst for in life? Because Jesus adds this, they'll be filled. And some translations actually say they will be satisfied. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with satiation index, but it's basically the degree to which certain foods fill you up. That's why, for example, if you go out to eat and maybe it's not a big meal, or maybe you just cook at home and it's a normal meal for you, you get full, but you don't get stuffed. You don't have that feeling of, I'm going to explode. But when it comes to Thanksgiving, if you live in America and you eat traditional Thanksgiving meal, you are so full at the end of a Thanksgiving meal. Part of it is the quantity, but part of it's also the types of food that you're eating. For example, oatmeal. Oatmeal has a pretty high satiation index number. It's usually over 200%, but a croissant is under 50. So just compare those two things. You have a bowl of oatmeal versus a croissant. Now, depending upon your tastes, you might like the oatmeal better. Most people probably would love a buttery chocolate croissant with almonds on top more than a bowl of oatmeal. But a bowl of oatmeal would do 4 times better at filling you up, at having you have that sensation of, I'm full and I don't have to eat. So you'd have to eat 4 croissants just to equal the amount of one bowl of oatmeal. In the same way, Jesus says, if you would hunger and thirst for the right things in life, it would satisfy you. It would fill you up. You wouldn't be longing for the other things in life that might not bring you to the truest life. He knew that life in God is the thing that will satisfy. A relationship with God is the thing that will satisfy. All the other things aren't necessarily bad, and only seeking God is good. But there are some things that will help us to experience life better, that will help us to have a deeper meaning in life, that will help us to have a truer purpose in life. And all of those things are going to be wrapped up in following God. So Jesus knew that. That's why he said to his followers, if you truly want to be happy, if you truly want to be satisfied in life, seek God. Don't just open the Bible sometimes. Don't just go to church sometimes. Don't just pray when you need it, but think of God as a person who's alive, who wants to interact with us, who wants us to build a relationship with him. And if you hunger for those other things, first stop and ask yourselves, do we hunger for God more? And if we don't, place God above those things, because God, and hungering for him and thirsting for a relationship with him and a deeper relationship with him is what will satisfy our lives the most. God bless.